Hey there, this is me Melikachin, and today I will present you one of my games from one of my recent tournaments. We are continue this series, learning from my own, and today I would like to share with you one of my recent, most wildest games. I play against my good buddy, good friend, and let's say main one of my main rivals in California, Endo Sevillano. We played so many times I even forgot. I even lost count how many times we played. And it's funny, like we played about at least, by my opinion, 10 games, pretty much fighting in the same lines. He beats me, I beat him. I mean, every time we prepare something, and this time I came with some preparation, and my opponent, I guess, didn't expect that. And funny, so we played this one line. I'm not sure, guys, if I provide these games here already before for this line. So this is Vinaver French. I know a couple our actors had covered Vinaver, like Tata Abrahamian, I believe, covered French Vinaver, maybe someone else, I'm not sure. I have my own opinion about Vinaver French, and yeah, this is quite known position. And Enrico plays always the same line, Queen C7. It's called, I think it's called Poison Pawn line. Again, by me, I'm always happy to fight against Queen C7 because I believe all these positions supposed to be, should be better for white. Even I lost a couple of games to Enrico in this line, and that's the only guy, by the way, I lost my games in this line. But I still beat the same person. I beat Enrico like, I mean, for sure more than twice. I mean, I still believe I have like a score in this line, maybe like 5-2, maybe 5-3 or 6-3, something like that. I'm not sure. So, but the point is, I'm still winning more than losing. Even so, position is quite, wild, sharp. So, my opinion, if someone plays this as a black, and that's what I said to my students, whoever plays French defense, my personal opinion, Castle King side, it's a much better way for black to handle this line, and particularly knight bc6. Recently, I played against one of the toughest kids in US, Darwin Young, and he played a very strong game against me by basically going like the main line, Queen h5, knight g6, knight f3, this, this, yeah. So that's how he played. I mean, this position definitely could be considered for black to play. I mean, quite also dynamical. I mean, dynamic. And I don't think so. Black has any big issues. If you guys just study some games, and you will see how people handle it. And it's not easy to break it for white, and because white generally lost the light color bishop, which a really important piece for them to be in use. And second option, a couple years ago, I played against Grandmaster Ramirez, which also, again, quite interesting move. Knight c7 right here. I think that move, let's say, I can give you one reference who played these positions and who handled this position very well from black side. It's Grandmaster Wesley So. I had an interesting game against him in the Vegas summer, but it was 10 minutes game. So we drew that game, but Grandmaster Wesley So one of the best handlers from black side in this position. So my opinion, this position is much, quite interesting for black to handle and to play. Just give you tips like if someone plays French defense and someone deals against Winawer, that's what I believe better than Queen C7. So back to the point of Queen C7. Now we'll talk about white side. So I'm going to present you guys one of the systems which I don't think so you will find in your books, in your software, in your sources. This system quite sidelined, but I had worked with this line for many years. I mean, by trying something else, because before I played obviously knight c3 or queen c3. I tried both. Then I had some tough games, and the Vault had some tough games. I can recall the match, let's say, I don't know, Topalov Kamsky. I can recall some other games of Grishuk. I think Grishuk beat Cheparina. I mean, some tough games on which Black actually was doing fine. So, and I invented one system. I'm not going to say I invented, but I think I saw this once. Some Swedish, I'm not sure, some not known really international master had played this, and I kind of liked the idea. Then I started to analyze it, and then I played several training games. That's what I do before I play those games, real games in real tournament. I'm playing always training games after studying position, and then I start to play in real games. Well, again, I had some draws, I had some wins, I had some losses. I think one time I lost to Enrico when he made his final GM norm. But that game also I had an advantage. It's only because in time pressure I messed up and I blundered. So this time I said, okay, let's repeat our position. So h3. The idea behind my system, first rook b1. First rook b1 to make sure this guy attacks b5, and most important, controls b6, make sure this guy never reaches diagonal. So rook b1, here, castle. What castle could be done? Last time Enrique played against me d4. He played against me d4, and that's how Schumann played against me. But back then I didn't know the rook b1 move. I played something else. It was different move a little bit, because Schumann played instead of bishop d7 at US Championship. Schumann played here. Yeah, he took it, which could be transposing. And I played this, and he played immediate d4. So, and I didn't know what to do, and I think I played here knight g3, and then at some point Schumann played queen b6, and I figured out, it's kind of strange situations. Now my pawn, I can't take my pawn back, all right? So, and this time I said I'll be smart, and I played, as I said, I played here, f4, dc, no, f4, this, rook b1. Again, this system could be designed against d4 early as well. Just don't react, don't take the pawns, play rook b1, control b6 square, and then make a setup, h3. It's very simple, guys. A rook on b1, don't take, play h3, play g4, control f5, play this, and then decide. Because then you have many plans. It's also dependable how black will play. If they will push d4, this knight could be getting access to e4 square and to d6 square, plus this guy from g2 attacks all the way down to b7. So that's the game plan, h3. And it's funny, like when I prepare this position, I prepare some lines. Before Enrico plays pretty much d4 to transpose, and we have this g4, king b8, bishop g2, bishop c8, and the castle. And I believe white still bear there, even somehow Enrico escapes for draw. He escaped for draw. I still believe I was better the whole time. So I knew Enrico would try to play something else. And it's funny, I had expectation where Enrico will play the move which he played. Right, about 10-15 minutes before the game, I had this picture on my screen. Yeah, here back then I remember Capito was showing quickly. I haven't reached a deep analyzing process here. So I like the idea. It's all Houdini, by the way, not me. To switch this rook to h8 and then pick up the pawn. So it was d4, queen c4, and this position I had on my screen, and I left the room. I left the room for the game, and I remember it was showing, computer was showing it's plus for white, and then rest I needed to basically pick up by my own. So the good part, I haven't spent that much time by reaching this position. I mean, and my opponent spent, a lot of time here. So clearly he had not expect that from me, and he didn't expect from me to be familiar with knight f5 ideas, because maybe he expected. He spent so much time, by the way, by playing knight f5, and I spent like a minute, just trying to recall if I'm right about my analysis and double check myself if I'm not missing something. The bad part is I still didn't know the plans, what to do, and after queen c4, when my opponent responded king b8, so I had to come up with some plan. And by knowing general ideas of what I want, especially when this guy moving from d5 to d4, as I explained before, one of the ideas from this guy is to reach e4 square. So I kind of knew the ideas, and I played here knight g3. So pretty much understanding my knight belongs to be on g3 because he needs to be here, he needs to be here or here. And then my opponent played here f6. This is the interesting part. So move 19, again, after this moment, I spent maybe like altogether like maybe 15, 20 minutes maximum, maybe 20 minutes, yeah. And my opponent was almost killing all his time. And after f6, he invites me to fight in territory of ef, e5, which is clearly insane. Even so, black could have some, white could be better, but I need to like calculate some kind of line. This. If I play this, then he does e4. All those lines are, in general, very, very tricky, very aggressive, very imbalanced. So I said, do I have anything else to control the game? And since, again, guys, that's how your general understanding of lines will help you out. Don't ever try to take the opening lines by memorizing, because memorizing is good, but if you don't understand the setup, the purposes, you'll be always in trouble. So that's why I played here the move which I knew was supposed to be the best. And by my opinion, I don't really care about what computer says. And by my opinion, I did the best move. I played knight e4 because that's what it sounds, because I'm going to attack this guy with my knight and forcing you to capture. And then I'm going to play knight c5. And now, how are you going to defend this and this at the same time? I don't think so it's possible. So after knight c5, my opponent played king a8. So here I was expecting queen d6, but then my opponent played queen a5, which, again, I think he just wanted to, create as more as possible some kind of chaos in the game. But after queen a5, I knew I have two moves here, king d1 or king f2. I've been dealing with those moves, and then I figured out, this is better, because again, you always try to stay close to knights by using these diagonal positions, because that's how you keep them restricted. It's kind of general tips. And I play king f2, make sure h4 knight never get involved in the process of attacking my own king. But after king f2, so he had to do only the move bishop c8, because bishop hanging itself. After bishop c8, rook b5. And now, improvement. Remember, your position becomes so strong when all your pieces are improved. And since generally this idea was designed to have this bishop on this diagonal, and since your bishop has no access for that square, because this guy, so what we do, we'll make switch. Remember this tip, guys. Always try to understand the setup of your opening lines. Don't take openings by memorization. Always understand the setups. My tutor, Tiran Petrosian, used to say, once he asked me a question, how many games I have in the file of that opening? And I said, oh, at least like 1,000. And he said to me, do you know all those 1,000 games? I said, no, I don't think so, but I have studied like a lot of those games. And he told me, "Do you remember those names and those games?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess something, some stuff." I was a kid, and then he said, "Next time, you don't need to have 1,000 games. You better have 5, 10, 15 games. Remember those games, understand the ideas, and if you want, remember the names." You know what? It's a great advice, and since then, I don't really like collecting like too many games in my files. What I do, I'm choosing the games by understanding what's the best games and putting them in separate file. I save them, and anytime if I forgot something, I'm going to simply review it, my notes, my analysis, and refresh, and I'll be fine. But most of the times I don't need it because when I study those games, I do remember ideas from most of the openings which I've played, and that's why when I'm playing the openings, it's really hard to surprise me if you're going to play something like nonsense or great novelty, whatever. So bishop d3, I'm continuing my own way by bringing my bishop for this diagonal and attacking this guy. So bishop d3. After that, I thought game is pretty much over. He played rook d6, so it's only require my technique, bishop e4. Yeah, he made some short prophylaxis thinking in calculation. We had the steps. I played here knight d3. I did stop knight a5, make sure this guy is still pinned, and plus keeping my eye on this, plus keeping my eye on e5, and suddenly the whole thing collapsing. After knight d3, he played bishop e7. Now we have two extra pawns, clearly better position, all these x-rays, all these pins. It's just kills. And final accord of this game. Simple move of development, and black has no way to stop so many threats, something like rook b1, something like knight c6. I mean, everything is pretty much hanging. And by the way, my opponent had almost no time here, so he decided to simply resign the game. So I hope you learn my tips from this game. So firstly, every time when you go for forcing lines, you're responsible to know your lines very well. And the mistake from my opponent came, he went to territory without really being prepared, which is not good. You can't really do that. You're playing like one of the most imbalanced lines, and you're not prepared. You're always at risk to lose the game, almost straightforward from the opening, as he lost in this particular game. And the tips from white side, you learn. It's about mostly not trying to memorize your line, guys. Always especially today's days, when you use your computer, don't just grab your computer and run your lines. No. Always try to understand and read between those, lines. What's going on? What's the purpose? What do I do? How do I put my pieces? Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself, and when you're sure what to do, when you understand, okay, your setups, then go ahead and play. And also remember, before you're playing those lines, try to play some training games. Make sure you feel the line. Well, I hope you understand those tips. I hope you like it, and we will continue about how to improve our general understanding of chess in our next installations, in our next lessons. Thank you, and have a great day.